Okay, folks, just gonna run a 90-second ad break. Some of you will see you back here in 90 seconds, and then we'll start this thing up. All right, ready? Who's ready? Are you ready? Gladiators, ready? Let's do it. All right. There we go. There we go. Hey, Ron, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Dave.
Yes! This is great.
What's up,
my...
man?
Everybody, welcome back. I'm so glad to have you here. Thank you so much for joining all of us tonight. Boy, what an exciting week this is right now here on this channel. It's an incredible time. We are in the middle of our Streamiversary week, so you know what I was hoping to do is we could definitely bridge the past with the present. We're doing it tonight, and I'm really glad to have you here. So this is, I'm going to introduce you all to a friend. I mean, not introduce you per se because we've already had Ron on the show for football shows, but just to talk to him, this is a really fun opportunity. And we also have a really awesome event tomorrow, group trivia. Let me show you that for a second. That's our before party. We're going to kick off our 2-year streamiversary in a very big way. Tomorrow night, 9 o'clock Eastern to roughly midnight, we're going to unlock some highlights and things like that. It's going to be really fun. But now, tonight, we're making up some ground. We didn't get to do the show last week with the NFL draft preview, so let's do it tonight. And hang out with a good friend. I've known you, Ron, for, gosh, it feels a long time, right? Like but
yeah.
Nice to see you again. How's it going, my friend?
It's going good. It's going good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Oh, geez. Oh, I think it's going on. I know what's going on. What's going on is because I have this thing in gallery mode. I haven't used Zoom in a while because I've been doing like other different ways to connect people for the sandwich show stuff, but yeah, it happens. We're good. But yeah, it's good to see you. How's everything with the family and the kids and everything? They must be growing up now. Like this must be wild. Like they must be what were they? I mean,
yeah. I mean, it's busy. It really is.
Yeah.
It's just constant things all week long. Yeah. I mean, it's never a dull moment, that's for sure. But that's the beauty of it.
True.
It's you blink your eye and I mean everything is like changed. But we're right now we're enjoying the run that the Devils are on as a family and celebrate.
I knew it was gonna take long.
Oh my God!
That was what a great moment. That you must have been pumped last night.
Listen, I have an irrational hatred for the for the New York Rangers, and nothing against their fans. I mean, I know a lot of Ranger fans, and a bunch of our friends are Ranger fans. They're great people, but I cannot stand the Rangers, and I finally got my boys into it this year. Because the Devils haven't been good in a long time. And we've been to games before, but I mean, this year it really like hit different. And, they've been watching with me like every single game. So, and getting into the whole rivalry. So to experience like last night was amazing. And let's hope it continues.
Well, it's a young team. It is an exciting team to watch. It's really interesting because I really liked them going into the series, but then I was getting very doubtful after games 1 and 2. They went down 0-2 in the series at home.
You know what the weirdest thing is, Dave, about the Devils, and I guess I'm becoming like an old man, but we've been to a few games this year, and my daughter is 11, and like she knows all the young guys on the Devils through social media. So like there's I don't know if you're like on TikTok or anything, but there's like all these TikTok accounts, these fan accounts for like Jack Hughes and Dawson Mercer, like all the girls love them. So, going to a Devils game now where 10 years ago it might have been, 75% guys like 35 and over. It's now like 75%, not 75%, but a good majority of the crowd is like young girls who are following those, the young guys, and it's it completely like, changed the fan base, and it's been really fun to watch.
That's great to see the fan base getting younger, though. It's huge. It's huge.
Yeah, absolutely. Huge. And listen, that. I mean, we always make fun of like the Giants, the football Giants, and like the Rangers and stuff like that because that's an inherited fandom.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Definitely.
Passed down generation to generation. So you see like a lot of the old guys are fans of those teams. So it took something like this. Maybe it's that's the new thing we see in sports where like the social media is going to drive new fans to fan bases. And definitely seeing that with the Devils, and it's it's exciting. I mean, there was like a big scene outside of the Rock last night with Devil fans, and it's they were a year away, but so what they're doing now is pretty extraordinary. But it's fun to watch. And I mean, you've experienced it the past 15 years with the Kings. You know, whenever you get like and I always say this, like hockey is like the most exciting sport to see in person.
Wow.
Maybe not to watch on TV, but you know, when you get into an arena, especially in a playoff game, and I'm sure you've been to like the Kings playoff
Hmm.
games. I
Yep.
mean, it sucks you in. It draws you in. So you know, we're happy to be on the ride, and yeah, it's been like jam packed with sports. You know, the draft last week, baseball's going through, the NBA playoffs are going on, NHL. I mean, this is it's been a fun like couple months to be a fan, and you know, I'm sure you know all about it.
Oh, I do. I'm hoping we can. You know, I'm hoping for more juice in that scenario. I mean, I never really got your beat on who you would with like who, if you'd be a Nick. And I know you don't follow it the same way you do the NHL, but between the
Yeah,
two, would you be a Nick guy or a net guy when the playoffs start?
I was always always a net guy.
Net guy.
Uh,
Okay.
I am the opposite of every established fan base in New York. That's the opposite of who I root for. But you know, it's you know, I grew up like one of my best friends was a Nets season ticket holder, like his family since we were little kids. So we went to. I've probably been to more net games than any other, you know, team that I follow. I've probably been to hundreds of Nets games when they made the run in, you know, the early 2000s where they reached the finals the 2 years in a row. We were at every single playoff game. You know, and as I've gotten older, I kind of, you know, drifted away from watching it like day in and day out. But and especially since they moved to Brooklyn. But you know, push came to shove, I would still root for the Nets over the Knicks.
Well, we'll keep an eyeball on it. I mean, yeah, it was a short run for the Nets this year. Knicks
Yeah,
are, that's all right. I mean, you know, well, I think the Nets have got to be so relieved to be rid of of
oh
the
yeah,
annoyance of KD.
yeah.
It's just too
I mean,
much.
you know, it was almost like you know, almost like you know, something tying them down that they could never, they would have never gotten over that hump or over a certain point because they were placating to Durant and Irving. So you know, if they thought that a certain move was best for the franchise and they didn't, then they didn't do it. And I mean that can only go on for so long in professional sports. And like you said, I mean, in the short term, getting rid of them is obviously. I mean, they still made the playoffs this year, and Bridges is a hell of a player.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, they got some good pieces actually for Durant, but you know, in the short term, they're probably going to struggle. But you know, it's better in the long run to start from scratch. You know, the way that they did it. So I'm excited to see like you know how the next few years play out because like I said, Bridges looks like a keeper. You know, Cam Johnson looks good. So they got some pieces there. They just you know they got to start recouping some of their draft picks that they traded away.
Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't mention Irving. Irving is just a bad guy. Period. Like
Yeah,
I'm not even gonna get into like basketball. Like he's just a bad guy. Period. So
yeah,
that is a great weight lifted off the shoulder. And then look what happened to the Mavericks after they traded him over there. They
yeah.
fell apart.
And Doncic is like one of those guys who you could think would like gel with anybody. I mean, any other superstar well. And for some reason, like him and Irving just never got on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of feel like that's you know that's going to be the case with wherever he goes for the rest of his career, Irving. And you know, I hate to say, but the best thing probably for him would have been to just have retired like a couple years ago when he was going through the whole vaccine nonsense because it just doesn't seem like he is able to buy into like a winning culture. So I don't know, and he's a free agent this year too, right?
Yeah,
And
there are so many rumors about
why?
him going to the Lakers, and I don't like him.
Who's going to touch him? I mean,
I know.
if I'm LeBron James, I'm like,
I
you
agree.
know, that's like career suicide.
Right. But today, it absolutely is. Absolutely is. I mean,
Yeah,
even if you put aside, and that's hard to do, put aside just how horrible a human he is. The
right.
basketball part is he's old. he gets hurt all the time, and
Yeah.
he's a volume shooter. You know what I mean? Like he's not a team player really. So it's just
Yeah, he's not a distributor as a point guard, and he doesn't have the size. I mean, there's a lot of point guards now in the league who don't necessarily have to be like that old school 15 assist, like 10-point game guy. But those guys are big enough to kind of play like the combo roles. He's not. He's built to be a distributor, a shooter, and it doesn't seem like at least from an outside perspective, it doesn't seem like he cares when he's playing, if that makes sense. I mean, every once in a while he'll put up a big game, and then the next 5 or 6 games, it's just like ho hum. I'll take a couple shots here and there if we're losing. My effort level goes down, and I mean that's just no team is going to be able to sustain that type of play.
agree. Well, I do enjoy all this NBA talk because it's been cooking. Like the first round, I gotta give him a lot of credit. The first round was terrific this year. It was a great first round. Like really good stuff.
Hey, the Lakers look good.
Yeah, they look good. Their defense has definitely picked it up too. Like I thought, interestingly enough, I mean, it's easy to say this now because they won the series, but I liked them going in that series. I thought they had a good matchup with Memphis. I thought they could win that series, and here we are.
Oh, I do. Yeah. Yeah, Memphis is very reliant on Ja Morant, and obviously like Dylan Brooks stirring the pot, but they're a team like I mean if you stop LeBron on the Lakers, they still have like and especially I think the best thing that happened to the Lakers this year was LeBron being hurt for a while, and some of their the role players got a chance to step up and actually get that confidence to take big shots.
Fantastic point. Yeah, because that's like when Reeves took off, like that same time period.
Yeah. I think it sucks that he got hurt, but in the long run, I think it really benefited their team. And on the flip side, with the Grizzlies, like you take away Ja Morant, and Jaren Jackson is a great he's a great player. The fit that he plays on that team is what he's well suited for. But I mean, he's not a guy who's going to take over a playoff game, and Dylan Brooks certainly isn't either. So yeah, I like the Lakers in that series too. And I actually think the Lakers are going to give the Warriors as much as they can handle. The Warriors are like a full team too.
Yeah.
You catch them on a bad night, and Lakers could steal a couple early games in that series and really put some doubt in their head.
I mean, they're starting their first games tonight in San Francisco. Yep. I absolutely could see the Lakers winning that game. I feel like of the two, I mean, you could make the argument that the Lakers are hungry. We'll see, though. I mean, listen, like, Steph is still Steph. Obviously, he went for 50 plus in Game 7 the other day. But I absolutely will give them a shot here. Like, it would not. I mean, if they go up if they're tied 1-1, definitely makes sense. But even if they were down to 0-2, then you got 2 games in LA. The Warriors have been terrible on the road all season, the entire season.
Yeah.
It's like, so I feel like they still.
I think the key for the Lakers is to not let Draymond and Klay Thomas get in their head. If the Lakers play their game and keep it clean, I think they can win.
I love it. Oh my goodness, Tina French is in our chat. Tina's one of our mods, a great friend of ours. Tina, I'd like to introduce you to Ron. Ron, this is Tina. Tina's a big sports fan too. So,
all right.
Yeah, go Defenders, nice. Yeah, the Defenders won the division in the XFL, right? Or is it it's either the division or the conference? So that's pretty cool. Tina says,
XFL, the USFL, I think started too, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I know.
$1 million.
Are you down to those two, Ron?
I haven't watched any of it.
Okay.
I'll be honest. Here and there, I know like the St. Louis team in the XFL, I think, right, is like they get like a ton of fans going to their games. I know that, but I haven't really been paying attention to any of that.
Well, we get the word from Tina that the Defenders out of Washington are going to the championship game. That's huge. It's huge. Congratulations to them. That's pretty cool.
Maybe that, the front office for the Defenders should take over the front office for the Commanders.
Honestly. Yeah. Oh, it's in Texas? Yeah. Oh, are you
Yeah,
gonna
they're
go? I know where you're getting. I know because I think Tina's around Texas too. So nice. Yeah, Tina says yes. We think so too.
yeah,
It's a great call. Oh
yeah. I
gosh,
mean, they're terrible.
I know. Yeah.
You know.
Oh, you're in DC. I'm sorry. Yeah. Andrea's in Houston. So Andrea Cannon Guitar is a guitarist on Twitch who's also Tina's sister, and so they have obviously goes without saying they have a great relationship. You know, kind of like you and your brother. Like, how is Leo? Like, I haven't heard from Leo in a while. Like, well,
Oh, yeah, he's doing good. Yeah,
cool.
he's obviously keeping up with the baseball tools and stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah. I mean,
But yeah,
I do still see him posting the links. I just meant to say, like, I hadn't actually talked to him like specifically in a while, and I should. I think he's good people. So, you know,
yeah, he's a good guy. We talk almost every day,
I love that.
and
Yeah.
yeah, you know, it's he's huge. He's the one who got me into the Devils, so he's enjoying it too. And yeah, he's doing really well, and
Yeah.
you know, he's
Um,
just being.
I love it. Yeah, no, he did. I mean, I know it's great to see that, and I'm happy for you guys. You know, I'm not similarly. I mean, I don't want to get too excited about it because like we also have good friends who are Ranger fans and good friends who are Islander fans, and the Islanders, oof, they sucked. I'm sorry, I don't know how else to put it. Like they were bad.
They're very team,
Yeah,
you know, which makes what the Devils are doing all that much more exciting
yeah,
because I feel like you know the average age on the Devils is like 25, 26.
yep.
So in any sport, when you get a team that young, able to make a run into the playoffs, I mean it's exciting.
Yeah, I've been watching the Knicks game while we were doing this, while we were doing the spot, and I'm like, man, Miami without Oladipo and Butler and Hero are really giving the Knicks a tough time tonight. This is kind of wild to watch right now. I've just been watching this all.
Are they the Knicks?
Yeah, they're at the Knicks. They're at the Garden. Now the Knicks have kind of climbed back into the lead here. They're up by one, but it's late in the third quarter. So
It's amazing. Like,
yeah,
you know, yeah, you know, you figure you're missing your realistically top three guys on the Heat, and you wouldn't really give them a shot to do anything in the playoffs. So I mean, it's amazing what they're doing.
yeah, 100%. So let's get into. I know we came on here to make up our Monday show where we were gonna preview the draft. I was really cringing for a bit because I thought there was a lot of strong. I don't know if you saw this too, but a lot of rumblings that Will Levis could be picked as high as number 5 overall in the draft.
Yeah,
Well, thank God that didn't happen, but still, it's just kind of nuts the idea how much they think of him. I'll give you the floor now to give you a quick recap of the draft in the first round and the scenario with Levis. We'll talk about that.
well,
Oh yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. I'll give you the floor.
yeah. I mean, you know, if we think about it, right? Who are the best quarterbacks? If you pick like the top two quarterbacks in the NFL, arguably it's Mahomes and Josh Allen, right? And you know, we know that the NFL is a copycat league, and every single team is trying to find the next Mahomes and Josh Allen. And really, when those guys came out, very similar. You know, they were big trait guys. You know, they had big arms. You know, but they both had big flaws. You know, Mahomes was very inconsistent in college. Josh Allen did not really throw the ball well. You know, at Wyoming, I mean, you know, he had a ton of games where he threw for like under 150 yards. But they had those they were raw and they had those tools, and because those two guys hit, every other team in the league now is looking every year to fall in love with a guy in a similar fashion who comes from a similar background, meaning like they, you know, they might not have the best stats in college, they might have struggled, but you know, when push comes to shove, they have a big arm and they think that they can mold them into a Mahomes or Allen. And you know, we see year after year the teams do that and fail. I mean, those two guys are exceptions to the rule, and you know, you're not going to find guys like that on a yearly basis. But we saw it with Zach Wilson. I've seen it up close with the Jets. I mean, it's a similar thing. A guy who was really a one-year wonder in college, but he had a big arm and made a couple nice throws in his pro day, and they thought he, was the next Josh Allen. They could mold him, and they couldn't. We saw it last year with Malik Willis. It didn't look like he was ready for the NFL. So every year they're trying to find these guys who they think they can mold into these like generational players, and it's just it's not happening. And that's what I feel like Will Levis was this year, and Anthony Richardson to an extent. Because we talk about him all the time watching college football, but tools are great for one thing, but you also have to have like the play to back it up. And we saw enough of Will Levis to know that he couldn't beat out Sean Clifford at Penn State for 2 years. He came to a Kentucky team that was like loaded with talent, loaded with seniors, and he had a good year. When he lost that talent and had a chance to cement himself as like a big time quarterback and raise the level of the people around him, he sucked.
Right.
He was garbage.
Oh gosh.
So it always like baffled me, like leading up to the draft, that he was even considered like a first round pick. I mean, we saw enough of him. Like he's just not that type of franchise quarterback, at least in my opinion. And I get it with Anthony Richardson because, and God knows, like he had horrific games at Florida. And I mean, stretches of plays where he could not hit a guy on a 5-yard out, which is definitely like concerning. And I wouldn't want to be a team to draft him high, but we know the guy is like an amazing athlete. We've seen glimpses of like this amazing arm. So at least there's like something there to mold, or traits that you could still work with on an NFL team when you're trying to develop him. Will Levis, I never saw what scouts were saying was there. I really never did.
Yeah.
He was an okay college quarterback who I think doesn't have a huge ceiling, and I don't think he has a big floor. So I don't know. I never got it. I really never did.
I appreciate your thoughts on that. I've been wondering your take on this for a while, because nobody knows the college scene or the prospects more than, well, among our group, I would say you're one of the best at analyzing these scenarios. And honestly, like, I know that there have been guys that have come through and you're like, well, they are nothing special when they were with X or Y. A good example with Josh Allen actually was a good example. Like, you saw him in Wyoming. Man, what's the big deal with Josh Allen? A big deal. And he goes to the NFL and he's like, oh my God, this guy's amazing. Justin Herbert's another example of that.
Herbert, yeah.
Yeah. I was notably outspoken, like saying that this is going to be a bust, and he's a great quarterback. So I was way off on that one. But
there's some times where like when Justin Herbert first came to Oregon, he had glimpses like his first year that he was starter where you're like, holy shit, this guy's going to be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Then he really went through like 2 down years, and you have to ask yourself, was it really Justin Herbert or was it the coaching?
Yeah.
System? And sometimes that's what happens. And they do say that about certain players, like they'll be a better pro than they are a college player, and that certainly that happened with Herbert. I wasn't expecting it, just because I mean there were so many Oregon games where he didn't look like he was a guy who could carry a team. But he's an exception to the rule. He ended up being a better pro quarterback than a college quarterback, and it's usually the other way around. So, but every team is chasing that guy, and every year they talk themselves into these first round quarterbacks, and every year the majority of them fail, and that's just that's the bottom line.
It is, and just to your point, I also don't really see that. I don't see that with Will either. I just honestly, I'd be even more surprised if Will Levis turned out to be anything other than like just this guy who was kind of hanging around the bench. Maybe he'd be his backup once in a while. I mean, that's pretty much all I could ever see from him. And listen, and if he is good on him, like I'm happy for him, but I would be really surprised. Like, it's not like the SEC was a high flying league. I mean, I guess it's a little bit more now these days, but that division certainly wasn't. Like,
No, and Kentucky was definitely not a team that opened up the playbook. But when they did and tried to his strength, I mean, it backfired on them.
yeah,
So but I think a lot of the success with quarterbacks in the NFL is determined by the situation that they go to. And like, Josh Allen went to the Bills when Sean McDermott was coming in and Bean was coming in, and they built around him. They built an offense around him. They got him skill players and weapons, and really grew his game. I don't see the Titans as like this great fit for Will Levis. I mean, he's got to sit behind Ryan Tannehill. Like I said, they drafted Malik Willis last year, and say what you will about the kid. I mean, he did not look ready to be a starter last year in the NFL. But if push came to shove, and you put Malik Willis against Will Levis, I would rather have Malik Willis out there on an NFL football field, just because I know you can work with the traits that he has, and you can use his speed and stuff like that. So I don't know. And you're talking about a team with no receivers, with Derrick Henry, who's getting up there in age, and eventually the tire's going to be, the tread's going to be off the tires. So I didn't think it was a smart move by them, and I didn't think it was a great fit for him.
yeah, and I trust you on that one. I trust you on that one, Ron. Absolutely. I mean, it's hard to really make a call as to who did great in the draft and who didn't at this early stage. I can see your Jets were at 3. They got Zach Kuntz. And I remember actually, well, I don't really remember him. He's with Old Dominion. Oh, some of you will see you back here in 90 seconds. Everyone else, feel free to hang with us. If you're a subscriber to the channel, you'll get the next 90 seconds ad free. But, did you ever see him play? Zach Kuntz in the Old Dominion? I saw like a couple,
Yeah.
like 1 or 2 games, I guess. But what'd you think?
Yeah. I remember seeing him. I forget who Old Dominion played
Mm-hmm.
last year, but it was it was one of those ESPN like the ESPN2 games.
Oh,
And
sure.
yeah, he's a guy who they talked about maybe going as high as like the second or third round, and for some reason he fell. So it happens every year. Guys like that will just fall for one reason or the other. We'll see what he does.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, I'm gonna get this in before the ad break starts. But Cliff, it's so good to see you. Like, Cliff Stallings' music is an awesome musician and also knows how to do an interview or two. So good to see you. Give her a friend to follow. Cliff Stallings' music, everybody. But so it's really fun. One of the things that's really fun about being on Twitch is that I get to know other people who also do interviews, and even if they're not doing as a regular function, but like musicians who do interviews are really fun to watch because it's really cool perspectives to watch that. It's like that's one of my favorite things about here. Cliff says hi, Ron from New Jersey.
Hey,
Good to see you. Yeah, Cliff's a really fun guy. Like he's a good friend of our mutual friend Ryan, that E flat guy who also is a big sports fan, and it's really so we do have sports fans on Twitch. It's really kind of neat to see our friend Robbie, big DC area sports fan who just celebrated a 2-year affiliate anniversary on Monday. Cliff, glad to. I mean, we're all just looking up to. No, just kidding. but yeah, it's so good to see you, my friend. Yeah, Ron. I mean, I think the next question then is, who do you think were the? I don't want to say winners and losers. I hate that because it sounds so ringer. I don't want to be the ringer. The last thing I want to do is be the ringer. But do you? Oh, go ahead.
No, I hate like you. Like I hate when people come out right after the draft and say, these are the winners and losers. This is the grade for the, what we give for this team. Because you can't really judge a draft until like 4 or 5 years down the road. And I was reading something this week, and I forget who it was, but the 5th year contracts are coming up in the NFL, where I think today was actually the actual deadline where the teams had to give the guys from that draft like their 50-year deal, or else decline it and they'll become free agents after next year. And I think out of like the 32 first round picks, there was like maybe like 5 or 6 were bona fide like Pro Bowl players. There was like maybe 10 or 15 who were starters, maybe above average starters, and there was like another 10 to 12 guys who were just not even like contributors. So draft is a crapshoot, and I hate labeling somebody a winner or a loser or giving them an A or a
Yeah,
B, because you don't really know
true.
how kids are going to turn out. But like when I look at the draft, I think to myself, what teams had the most glaring holes, and did they fill them? And that's how I think you could grade a draft, or like analyze a draft right after it happens. So to me, like the teams that I thought who got like filled their biggest holes early in the draft, I would say the Steelers. I thought they did really well. They needed an offensive tackle and a cornerback. I thought number one, that was two biggest holes on their team. Protect Pickett, and they need somebody to cover the receivers. And they got Broderick Jones. They traded in front of the Jets, who were going to take him, to get Broderick Jones, and they managed to get Joey Porter Jr., a legacy guy, at cornerback, who was a first round talent. They got him in the second round. I thought they did a great job. I thought the Texans need talent everywhere. They need talent at every position. So I thought what they did was smart, going all in and getting C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson, at the top of the draft. And I know, it might hurt them in the long run because they don't have as many draft picks. But I mean, how many years can you go with 2 first round draft picks and still have a 4-13 team? Eventually you have to try to cash in those draft picks,
Yep.
and make a move. So I thought, at least on paper, like what they did was the right call for the franchise. Other teams, the Eagles. I mean, the Eagles, in my opinion, are putting on like a clinic the past like 2 or 3 years on how to build like a winning team. And I know,
That's
like, the
true.
joke is like they take all Georgia guys. Well, guess what? But Georgia has dominated college football for the past 3 years.
Correct.
Why not take Georgia guys? I mean, they're the most dominant players
Yeah.
out there. So, and they're a team that really didn't have any. Actually, they did. I thought like the biggest hole they had coming into the draft was running back. They let Miles Sanders go, and they had Boston Scott, Kenny Gainwell. I thought that for like a championship team, they need like a featured running back. And once Bijan Robinson went to the Falcons, I thought, this is not looking good for the Eagles. And they managed to trade for DeAndre Swift, like traded nothing for him. So, I mean, that just goes to show, on top of drafting Jalen Carter, who was a consensus, like one of the top 2 players in the draft, and slid because of character concerns, but they were able to get him, Nolan Smith at the end of round 1. They hit on a bunch of guys, like they got a bunch of great value for guys as the draft went on, and they traded for DeAndre Swift. I mean, I think they can't do anything wrong right now, at least on paper and how their depth chart looks. I mean, they're just they're killing it, and I think they should be the odds-on favorite going into next year to at least win the NFC East. So they're doing it right. And I thought, the Packers, and it's ironic because Aaron Rodgers was there and, not coming out in public, but you could kind of read the tea leaves, like for the past like 5 or 6 years. He wanted them to take offensive skill players to surround himself with, and they never did. Every year it was a defensive lineman, a quarterback, a safety. Um, Never really gave him any or drafted any weapons high. And you know the irony is they get rid of him and they took Luke Musgrave, a tight end high. They got a couple receivers, offensive linemen. So, but you know, at least they're trying to like build around Jordan Love. So I thought they did a good job too. And I thought the Cardinals actually did a good job. You know, I know they got to tackle Paris Johnson from Ohio State, but they moved back to do it and were able to get more draft picks because they're another team. Like on paper, you look at that roster and it sucks. I mean, there's like no depth on the Arizona Cardinals, so um, they basically needed everything, and you know they were able to get a bunch of picks and at least you know bring in a bunch of guys who could possibly contribute early. You know, but yeah, those are the teams that jump out to me. You know, early. I think the biggest thing with the draft is if you have glaring holes and can fill those holes with good value guys from where you pick early in the draft, because you never know what a third rounder, fourth rounder, fifth rounder, sixth rounder, if they're even going to make the team. And we've seen, you know, enough cases that, you know, not happening to know that it's a crapshoot. But you know, you should hit on your first and second round guys. So if you're able to fill those holes, you know, early on, you know, I think that's at least on paper, that's a win to me.
Joey St. Louis says in the chat, welcome in, Joe. Good to see you, Joey. Literally every fan base, excluding Philly, has expressed displeasure from the draft. How is that possible?
It is like I will be 100% honest. Like this is one of the years, and I think the only year that I can remember where like when you look at the teams and like the different draft classes, I don't think any of them like jump out. And I think that just, you know, goes to show like the actual talent in this year's draft.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, there was no real like there's no home run guy. There's no like bona fide like this guy's going to be a 10-time Pro Bowler. You know, it was kind of like a mid, you know, draft. And you know, I think when you see like the list of the picks and you go team by team, it's when that like really jumps out. Like you know, even teams that you think like did well in the first and second round, and you look and you're like, who the hell are these guys who they drafted in like the third and fourth?
Right.
You know, even like you know, take the Jets for example. The Jets reached in the first round and took the kid from Iowa State. Um, I mean, I feel like in any other year that guy's probably like a second, third round guy, and they take him at 15. It was just a weird year, and I don't think the talent level was what it has been in the previous like 3 or 4 drafts, and probably what it's going to be next year. It'll, you know, I think we're going to get a big boost next year, but this year was I thought that you know almost like the guys in the first 3 rounds like all blended together.
I can't disagree with any of that. Like, just to your point, like I literally didn't watch it. Like I just thought that the NHL stuff and the NBA stuff was more interesting this year. And I know some people will yell at me for that, but I'm like, it's just what you were saying. Like, it's like, I didn't see the same level of talent that I have seen in previous years. So, you know, we'll see. I mean, maybe they'll end up being solid players. You know, I don't,
You never know.
you never know.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we're hanging out with Ron in New Jersey tonight. He's my friend. We go back a long time. Like we go back like to 2000.
2008, I
Yeah,
think.
2008.
2007.
Dude,
Yeah.
like, where is the time gone? Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Yeah. It's like 15 years. I mean,
Wow.
crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to say hello to Joey St. Louis tonight. It's nice to see you. And Tina and Cliff Stallings music. Now, Cliff said earlier in the chat, um, not a sports guy, but want to talk Pokemon and the new rotation for the TCG, and I'm your man. Ron, do you have feelings about either of those?
I have no idea what either of those are. I'll be
No,
honest
no.
with
Oh, I thought you might know the Pokemon. I
you.
thought you might know the Pokemon. Okay, okay. Not the Pokemon. Okay.
I'll be honest, my kids, they haven't gotten into that yet.
Oh, okay.
They're big into Roblox and that type of nonsense. Haven't gotten into Pokemon yet though. But we did just go see the Super Mario Brothers movie,
Ah,
and I had no expectations going into it, and I thought it was a really good movie.
Bump that up. Yeah, I saw it too. I felt the same. It was really fun to watch that movie.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was fun.
Yeah.
It was a fun hour and a half, and didn't expect it. I was pleasantly surprised.
I mean, it's a little thing. It's a more subtle part of this, but the fact that it was an hour and a half, I appreciate that illumination
Yeah.
and Nintendo. Thank you very much for that. Like, Ron, you know a thing or two about 2.5 hour movies because of the MCU.
Yeah, I listen to every Marvel movie, and I mean, when one of them is not like up to your expectations, I mean that last like hour is so goddamn tedious.
Yeah.
It's oh god. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you a story. I only walked out of the movies one time in my life, um, and I'm a big like history guy, big Civil War guy, and there was a book called Gods and Generals that was like it was part of a series, but it was awesome, and they made it into a movie, and I think it was like 4.5 hours long, and me and a buddy went to see it. It opened like on a Friday, but they had like a midnight showing that Thursday, and we went to go see it, and it was like one of the most boring movies I've ever seen in my life. I made it through about like 2 hours, and I looked, and I was like, "There's not even halfway through this movie. I can't. I couldn't do it. I got up and left. I never, I
Yeah.
never seen like." And afterwards, I mean, I think it got like horrible reviews, but yeah, I mean, nothing worse than like a movie that overstays its welcome, and you're looking at your watch,
Oh,
half
that's tough.
wishing for it to be over.
And I think we were getting in. It's a little bit like it's even tougher when you're at the theaters. Like you don't have another option. You have to stay with it.
Yeah,
Oof.
and they make it like, listen, I appreciate like the trailers and stuff. I
Yeah,
really do. I still like get a kick out of that seeing that now, but I mean, it's literally like 45 minutes of trailers now. Like they beat it to death. So when you go see an hour and a half movie, you're in that theater for like at least 2.5 hours. So
yeah.
I mean, you go a 2 hour, 2.5 hour movie. I mean, that's a whole day at the movie theater. It's rough.
It is. Let me go catch up on the chat. We have quite a few comments in chat. So TCG Jerry St. Louis said, saw a TCG fight video from a Walmart on Instagram, and neither guy had any technique. I will take your word for it on that one, because
what is TCG?
Yeah, would we all be willing to enlighten us on what TCG is? Is it similar to Is it similar to UFC? Oh, the Lost Colony. Oh, okay. Yeah. And Joey says, still mad the new Top Gun was 3 hours. It was. Did it need to be?
I have heard good things about that movie.
Oh, you haven't seen it? Okay. Yeah.
I haven't seen it. I definitely something that I'll catch at some point. But it was universally loved. So
Yeah.
I mean, they did something.
They did it. It was a great movie. They probably could have trimmed it, but I too like the movie a lot. Yeah. So I will report a final score from Toronto. The Florida Panthers beat the Maple Leafs 4-2.
Wow.
But it was 4-2 for like 7 minutes. So like I was rooting for them over. Didn't even get the netter. Then there was a penalty. There was a 4-minute penalty with like 30 seconds left. So, not that they would have used up all 4 minutes anyway. But then it looked like they scored a goal, like Toronto, to cut it within one. Couldn't do it. So,
wow.
Channeling my inner Andy, a little frustrated at the bad beat there, but it's all right.
So what? The over was 7, Dave, or 6?
6.5. 6.5.
6.5. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
It's a pretty bad beat. But we're getting a lot of things right so far. In fact, if the Heat wind up winning the game, we are styling tonight. Yeah.
I love that.
I do love that too. I know you love that.
Yeah.
Fergal Fanny, welcome to the show. It's nice to see you in our chat. It's really nice to meet you. I'm glad you enjoyed. If you found us because Ron is from New Jersey, that's awesome. The question was, save any money on tolls lately? That's
Everything's expensive here, Dave. It's I can't talk. I mean, I know it's expensive in California too, but yeah, I mean they'll bleed you dry.
I hear that. I hear that. So Frugal Fantasy says I'm seeing Air tonight. I would love to see Air. That looks like an awesome movie. The one about Nike getting the contract for Michael
Yes,
Jordan. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. That's definitely one that's on my must watch
Yeah.
for sure.
So Tina says I still live in Virginia and went to Radford. That's sweet. And Joey says Roanoke, born and bred. That's cool. Cool, Joey.
All right,
So
Virginia.
Virginia love. I love it. We have a good friend, Robert, who I think is still in Arlington, Virginia, somewhere around there. So go our good
Yeah,
friend PNC.
our buddy SB owns the brewery in
Yeah,
Virginia.
G.34 around that same area.
Yeah, G
Yeah.
got 34.
I haven't heard from him in a minute. Have you?
Me no, me neither.
Wow.
Probably probably almost a year now, I would think.
Wow. Holy mackerel.
Yeah.
It's been a
I
minute.
assume that his brewery is doing well, so I'll
Maybe
let
he
it slide.
Yeah, hopefully maybe it got so good he quit his day job and just went full time like brewing. Kind of
I mean,
like
that's the dream.
it is. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Joey St. Louis says the Toronto Maple Leaf fan base is only less hateable than Yankee fans because they haven't won since 1966.
It's true.
So true.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
And if you're here, I mean, the Ranger fan base is just as bad because the majority of them are Yankee fans.
That's true too.
So
Not
they
all though,
carry,
not all, but yeah. Because
but
Featured's a Met fan, so just to give you an example. But
yeah, no, yeah, you're right. I mean, there's certainly like a portion of the fan base that appreciates the struggle.
yeah,
Yeah,
right.
and yeah, I could get behind that.
Yeah, I feel it. Yeah, it's. I feel. I mean, I know most of the Toronto Maple Leaf fans I know are really nice people. Like they're really great people. Like our friend PJ, is a big Leafs fan too. But no, I get it. I get it because the Leafs have. I feel like they're more like the Cowboy fans, but the Yankee fans is good too because like it's just kind of like the reason I call them like them the Cowboy fans, and I think we've had a lot of discussions. Is like like a bunch of our friends and I we've been talking about this in different points of the year, but it has definitely got that feel of a Yankee fan base or a Cowboy fan base where they just talk it up. They talk it up, and they haven't done anything. Like they haven't won. Now I'm happy they got out of the first round. Like that sucked. Like I wouldn't want to go like 7 years. No, like almost 20 years without making the second round run. That seems crazy.
Yeah, yeah, it's been a long time, hasn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, Joey. That's I appreciate that. No, that's okay. I'm just goofing because Dodgers Cardinals is like a real pretty legit rivalry. So, but Joey says I say that as a Cardinal fan, knowing no one likes us either. Respect.
It's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
And listen, I'm a
but
Laker fan, so I know the feeling too. Like nobody likes us either. So like I've been through that road.
yeah, and I mean, you're a fan of the Steelers and Lakers,
That's
and
true.
but they also have like as much detractors.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but
So true.
you take it.
It's interesting to have this conversation about fan bases because it's like, well, then what's a likable fan base? It's like usually it's not teams that win a lot. It's like if you think about like Sacramento, like you saw them on Sunday, how great their fans were. Man,
Yeah.
they were so good. But it's like,
Yeah.
what would happen if they started winning? And I don't think it would change a lot, but you might just hate them more because
Dave, I mean, I'm a Red Sox
Red Sox.
fan.
Yeah.
They were. I mean, we were really like the lovable losers, right? For
Yep.
almost 100 years, and then they started winning, and it got flipped to they're the obnoxious assholes. So and rightfully, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't that.
I'm with that. It's just funny. You're right. Like once you start winning, your fan base
Yeah.
becomes less likable. They're
100.
your brother's team, like Kansas City. They're now. I don't think a lot of people probably start hating them since that time.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's, it's stupid to say, but that line from one of the Batman movies, like you either die hero, you live long enough to become the villain. It's same in sports. I mean, if you win enough, you're gonna get the hate.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, it's just the way it is. I mean, I remember growing up in Alabama football was like, they went through a stretch where they were terrible,
I remember this.
and like you never really thought about Alabama football, and now like you can't think about Alabama football without being like, God, I hate those guys.
Yeah.
I want to lose so bad.
I know.
But it's just the way that sports goes.
Yeah, and it could go the other way again. Like in 20 years' time, like we'll be talking. Poor Alabama, they can't win anymore. Remember they used to win
Yeah,
all the time.
they deserve a championship. Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
it's true.
it's gonna be, it definitely can. It definitely cyclical. And Joey says the Padres seem nice, but again, if they start winning like pennants, it's gonna get interesting for Padre fans. But I agree with you so far. Padre fans are cool, I
Yeah,
guess.
Orioles. At the Orioles fan base, like I've
Yeah.
been to a bunch in Baltimore. They always seem like genuinely nice people. Like deserve a winner. I got nothing bad to say about them. I'm sure it's like that.
Yeah, every Orioles fan I've run into thus far, and some of them are on Twitch. Like our friend Indubitably Brendan's a huge Orioles fan. Like we actually talk about the Orioles in DMs a lot. Like we've gotten into the one thing that all three of us have in common are our annoyance at the Yankees. So it brings us all together. It's just kind of
Yeah, I know it all too well.
yeah, for sure. Orioles off to a great start too. But anyway, Frugal Fan says likable fan bases only stay likable for so long before they become hateable. Seriously, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, true.
And Jason L. Rush, it's so good to see you, my friend, our good friend and a mod here on the channel. 18 months resub. Jason, that's extremely generous. Thank you so much for hanging out with us all this time, my friend. We are at the week of our 2-year stream anniversary on Twitch, and I'm extremely excited to tell you more about these cool events. So we're going to kick it off tomorrow night with a before party. A lot of people do after parties. We're doing a before party, kicking off our 2 years on Twitch with a big group trivia show, and Jason and Joey and Frugal, anybody else in our chat. You are invited to this. Go on if you want to join us. Hop on Discord and let us know. Here's Discord. But we're gonna unlock some game. We're gonna play a Jeopardy kind of trivia game, except we're gonna do regular questions. So we'll tell you more about that tomorrow. But it's gonna be really fun. We're here with Ron in New Jersey. He's my friend. We go back, and Tina had asked a question. Tina is stepping out, so Tina, let us know when you're back, because then when you come back, we'll tell a story of how we met, which is quite a story. It's kind of an unlikely what do you call it, beating the odds situation. Oh, Tina, are you back? Are you here for the story? Oh, okay, cool, welcome back. Okay, great. Hi, Tina. Yeah. It's great to have chat again, like to have chat binking and booming like it was back in the Blog Talk Radio days. Those were good days too. But oh no, they didn't have to do that. Knicks just hit a 3, but they're up by what, 4 points? Oh, come on! Oh, sorry. I'm getting a little too getting a little too into this game. But Joey says, "Who's Mark Belanger?" I love it. Is Streamlabs an AI bot? No, I wrote that myself. I guess that's funny though. What's up, Brett? Good to see you again, Brett. Shout out to our friend Breddington Frothing Slosh, throwing out Jeopardy answers. Nice. I also love Hydro Flask Ron. Nice.
Yes. Yeah.
Hydro Flask is cool. So how did we meet? So we were on a message board. Should I tell my side of this first, or do you want to tell your side of this first? Like basically, how did you find MikeFrancesa.com? Like that's where we met. Like the old site, the old one with Mod and Gecko and all those guys. Like,
yeah, I mean, I could tell you how
okay.
I got to so obviously growing up in the tri-state area, Mike and Mad Dog were like an institution. The sports talk, really the first big like sports talk show in the country. And I used to listen to it. I used to work with my dad since probably I was like 13. He would take me every winter, every summer break. He would take me to work with him. we would listen to the show, on the way to on the way back from work. So we were big fans of like Mike and the Mad Dog, and he passed away in 2008. Uh, and I was looking, on just like hit with like nostalgia and just like looking up like for old Mike and the Mad Dog clips, and found the Mike Prince as a message board. And I don't know, like, I went on it and it was just like, irreverent posts, like funny stuff, like everything I was reading was hilarious. And it took me a while, but then I started like, I got up to nerve to like create an account and start posting. And that was 2008. And it's 2023, it's 15 years later. And I mean, I still like check in on the board almost every single day. Different iterations of the board, but a lot of the people from 2008 I still talk to today, and probably friendships that will last forever, just by like looking it up online. That's how I met a guy out in California, a Steelers and Lakers fan.
Could you believe it?
From California, and yeah,
Yep. Well, thanks
crazy.
It is crazy. It really, when you really think about how crazy that is, it's absolutely crazy. I'm going to tell you my side of that story. So, this is going to be long too. So, I have absolutely no roots to New York, New Jersey, or Connecticut whatsoever. Zero. I don't have any family there. I have one uncle who lives in Philadelphia, but I don't think that counts. So I'm completely West Coast based. So how did I end up finding out about any of this? Well, we have known about Mike and the Mad Dog for a long time. So I've been into sports for a very long time, like probably since, I mean, not as long as you would think, but it's still a pretty long time, like probably about roughly two and a half decades, right? So there have been a lot of references to Mike and the Mad Dog because they were really the formation of sports radio. They were really the first really big radio show, like the show that kind of made sports radio a popular genre in media. And it was an exciting show. I never got to hear that show. I never actually got to hear it because it was before my time. But Joey, by the way, Joey says Mike and the Mad Dog followed by the Fabulous Sports Babe. Do you remember that?
Oh, yes.
Good times. But so sometimes you'd see them on like make appearances on Letterman, and you'd hear about them on like documentaries. You'd even hear their clips of their show like in movies in the 90s, like if you can believe that. So they're iconic for New York City. So over time I just kind of known about them. I'm like, okay, this is their big show. This is what they do. And then they broke up, as you saw in 2008. Mike and Dog split ways, and they did their own shows. So I had XM radio. This was even before they merged with Sirius. It was just XM radio. And then it was about that time when they were merging. So Mad Dog had just started his show on 2008 at Sirius XM. And so I started listening to him like, oh, this guy's a nut. I got to go find a message board that's talking about him. I couldn't really do it. So the closest I came to was like the Mike Francesa's website, where maybe they talk a little bit about, but then more people were talking about Mike. So then I'm like, okay, well, this is about the point where FAN started streaming. So I started putting on the WFAN stream to follow along with everybody else. So the first time I ever heard Mike Francesa on the radio via the online internet was during the press conference for CC Sabathia. This is how long ago this was. And he was complaining about the reporter who asked about the number of pinstripes on his jersey. Remember that? He was like, what are you talking about? You're gonna be a bigger fool, just talking about the pinstripes. And it's just so dumb. So I go in there and introduce myself, and I'm like, these guys are gonna rip me apart. Like I'm just this California kid waltzing into this like message board with all these New York guys and New Jersey guys. Like, what am I? I'm gonna get eaten alive. But y'all were so kind to me that week, and so it just grew from there, didn't it? And we also started following along Mike's solo show together, and Dog too, to a lesser extent. And then it just became less about the show than more about just us. And we just had a lot of moments together, on that message board. And then the message board migrated to like two different places. One that was full of viruses. Remember that?
Oh God.
That was rough. But And then we went to the new MikeFrancesa.com. So we were there for a long time. And obviously, just like anything else, like anything, you go on for 10 plus years, 20 plus years, and things change. And it was true. It's true with every TV show you've ever watched that's gone that long. And but there, like you said, there are a lot of friendships from there that I've never let go of, and yours is one of them. And
Yeah,
I'll never
absolutely.
forget that. So
Yeah, 100%.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the guys, don't post anymore, but I'd still, still send a text here and there, and
Frugal Fanny, you're absolutely right. Mike Francesa is the guy that fell asleep on his own show, right? That is correct. It was during an interview with Sweetie Murdy. Yeah, that is correct.
yeah. Listen, there are some shows where like I wanted to fall asleep listening to them.
Yeah, fairness is being fair, right? Fairness being fair. Um, and Joey says, I only heard Mad Dog when Stern pranked him, which, yeah, those were memorable too. I've heard about those. Stern
He
definitely.
was he was always on like Letterman and Stern.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. He's built himself like he's doing better now than I think he's ever done with the ESPN
Oh my
exposure.
gosh. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, you're so right. But yeah, thank you for. I did appreciate. I was very happy to share that with you, Kina, because I'd always wanted to share the origin story of my sports friends with everybody here on Twitch, like just to kind of bring me full circle, like where I came from, where you came from, Ron. So you're very
Yeah.
welcome.
Yeah.
We have not met IRL though. That's the only thing that's interesting about this is that I've met a lot of our friends from that community in real life, but Ron, I don't think we've met. Unless I just forgot, I don't think we've actually met in person yet.
No, never crossed paths in person. I think like when in the early days of the board, when there was meetups and get-togethers and stuff like that. I mean, I was I think I was just getting married, starting to have kids. So I mean, yeah, I was always like, I could never commit myself to really to a night on the town, especially in those early days. My daughter was born in 2011. My son was born in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
So, it was hectic back then. It's still hectic. No, I mean, I can't lie.
I do want to take this moment since we have a wider audience now on Twitch to say I am so sorry when one of your kids was born that I didn't pick your call during our show. So sorry. I was on hold for like a half an hour.
I can, and I tell this story all the time, because he was born on a Tuesday night in November 2012 at like 11 o'clock at night. And I had my daughter at the house being watched. So I immediately, like, he was born and I had to like run from the hospital back to the house to put her to bed. And, I'm driving, like I'm giddy, so happy, to, witness the birth of my son. I'm thinking to myself, like, who can I call? Who's up at 11:30 at night on a Tuesday? Who I call? And I thought to myself, Dave's got to be. He's in California. He's up. I'm gonna call him. And I through to your show. You were talking to Junkie, Kevin on the Cape, and you were talking about a random question, and you said like, oh, there's a New Jersey number coming in. But I want to hear your answer, Kevin. And like basically just hung up on me.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I did. So this just shows some illustrate what was going on. I did not have as many screens back then as I do today. So I only had like one screen. So I didn't see the thing with the phone number, the phone. So we took calls on the phone. This is ancient history now, folks. Like, so I'm so sorry. I'm glad.
I was looking to like. I was probably just going to yell something on the air, to be honest with you, yell something and probably hang up, just because I was so excited. But I'll never forget that. But at least it's a story that I can tell, and I'll always be connected with the great Dave in the city.
100%. And I've said this before, but doing that live internet radio. And I've just put a link to it for those in the chat. If you really want to catch some of the really old shows, and we did it over the phone. Like it was just such a janky experience, but we had so many great moments from it. Like it was really great. And Tina says, "Congrats on your kids." Okay, be right back. Right on. Yeah, what a beautiful Marvel.
Fun time.
Yeah, for sure, fun times. I mean, it's from this story I got to learn how to be a host, and it's amazing, and it's served me well here on Twitch. It really has. Like I always wanted to be on radio. God, seriously, 6 points. We're gonna. Sorry, but are you watching? Do you have anything on your TV at the moment?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
So the Knicks just hit a free throw to go up by 6. The point spread is 5.5. I'm on the Heat, so it's just.
How much time's left?
4 seconds.
Yeah, you're done.
The Heat will get the ball, but still, it's like, golly.
Yeah.
And they were covering the whole game. Just like. Yeah, Bruiser, it's so good to see you. Bruiser says, "You have a face for radio." Joking. Nice. Yeah, Brett. Oh my gosh. Not the first time I've heard that comment, but I love it. It's funny. He's just joking though. I love it, Bruiser. It's great to see you again. And Breddington says, "How about them Sixers?" How about them Sixers? What a great win that was last night. Harden going for 45, beating the Celtics on the road. Everybody said they couldn't do it because of Embiid. The Embiid wasn't going to play. They had no shot. They came in.
It's crazy how many of the the big time stars are injured right now.
Yeah.
In the NBA.
I mean, it's funny. But the one team that isn't really is the Lakers. That's what's funny.
Yeah.
Right now they're fine.
But they did like a lot of injury. I know they hate that term, but injury management during the season. And hey, look at them now. They're set up for success and healthy. So maybe what they did was something that worked.
Yeah, so far so good. Now, a great question for Joey St. Louis. Does anybody believe the beard can maintain? I forgot.
No.
Seriously. Oh,
no.
Never mind. I'm just gonna move on. But I did get the other thing. But does anybody believe the beard? No, absolutely not. I was actually joking to my friends in text, I think he might score 45 points for the rest of the series too. So I don't.
It depends on what way the wind blows. How he fares in a game. I mean, he could go off for 45. He could disappear. It's like there's no rhyme or reason to James Harden at this age, and his consistency.
Yeah. Okay, so some of you will be back in 90 seconds. But for those of you who are subscribed, you can stay with us ad free. Brett says, when it comes to Embiid, I call him injured in quotes because he's always injured.
He is.
Yeah, it does seem perpetual, doesn't it? But
yeah.
I mean, I would love the juice if the Sixers did go up 2-0. I would really love the juice if they went up 3-1. Because Doc Rivers with 3-1 leads in the series.
Yeah.
Yeah. Joey says, "Joe." Okay.
What I'm not into the NBA as much as you are. What's the preferred matchup coming out of the East? As a Laker fan, who would you want to see them compete if they made it to the final?
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I mean that's an interesting question. It would have been Milwaukee. I would have loved that matchup. From a fan perspective, I would have loved that. But obviously,
sure, yeah.
That would have been a tough matchup though. Been tough, but too bad. Gosh, what a disaster the Bucks were last week, man.
Yeah.
I guess the Celtics. I mean, the media juice is always going to be huge whenever it's Lakers Celtics, right?
Yeah.
It
just. And it always with rivalries like that, it'll carry some cachet, but it'll probably take a scuffle or something like that, or the series to go a little bit longer to really get the juice back up.
Yeah, 100%.
I feel like there's no real interaction between this version of the Celtics and this version of the Lakers. But that tradition's always there, and that rivalry is always there. So, like I said, it'll probably take if that ever did happen, you get to like deeper in the series, and you're going to see that all bubble up to the surface.
Whatever, yeah, and that's kind of what happened in 2008 when they met in the finals. You had that.
Right.
It got heated. Let's just say it got heated. It got heated between between the KG Celtics and the Lakers with Kobe. It's kind of weird with the Celtics this year. They're actually likable. Like I actually like all those guys. Like
they are. Yeah.
I mean, how do you hate Jason Tatum? How do you hate like Jaylen Brown? Like I can't do that. Like they're really good guys. Like it's weird.
I agree.
It was so much easier in the 80s. All those guys were douches. Like it was just... The only one I rooted for back then was the Chief, Robert Parrish. That's like the only guy. Everybody else was annoying. But that was it. Even DJ, I just like no.
You always find like the one guy on, even if it's like a rival, there's always like that one guy who you respect. You don't necessarily like, but you respect, and you don't really harm on them. But Jeter was always like that for me. Like I respect the hell out of Jeter.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's big in a big spot. But there's always somebody like that who you can't like outright hate.
Yeah, Jeter's a very interesting study because like he never really said anything bad or did anything bad necessarily, but he was also like so committed to not doing anything bad or saying anything bad. Like it just got irritating, and just from that, like, can you show some personality? Like
it was almost like the fan base talked for him,
right?
And talked up, while he was trying to be like the humble guy. That it was just like such a it's such a juxtaposition that it made a lot of people dislike him. But as seeing him play like almost every day, I mean, you got to respect like what he did, because he's not one of those guys who put up 30 homers and hit 350 every year, but he grinded it out, and that's respectable. And he is always big in the playoffs.
Always. He was clutch. And you can say that's not an actual thing. It's an actual thing. You can give me all the stats you want. Like that's the thing. Like you've seen like Jimmy Butler like against Milwaukee. That there's no stat that predicts that. Like he just took it to another level during that series, and there's definitely something to that.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of guys like that.
Yeah.
Even trying to think, like, I mean, even with the Red Sox, like David Ortiz, if he came up in a big spot in the playoffs, I mean,
automatic.
I mean, there was times when like I wasn't even worried. Like I knew, like he's at,
halfway to that 2004 ALCS, I'm sure it was that point, right? Because like he was just automatic.
Oh, God,
yeah.
Even the last time they won the World Series and went on a run, I mean, he was old and didn't really have a good regular season, but I mean, he went into the playoffs and they couldn't get him out. And there's just some guys who are built for those moments. It's crazy.
I'm totally vibe with that. I really do. There are so many comments to catch up on chat. Let me go do that, and then we're gonna get to random questions, everybody. We're gonna give you the opportunity to ask our good friend Ron questions about anything. Is Jersey Mike's worth it? Stuff like that. And I think it is. I think it's pretty good. But
Do they, Dave?
What's that?
Do they have Jersey Mike's out?
They do. They have one they have one in my neighbor. They have one in LA for sure. They have a few of them in LA. It's pretty cool.
Really?
Yeah. I have my numbers. I like my numbers. Number 9 is my favorite. That's like the roast beef, turkey, and bacon club.
Yeah,
it's a good one.
I enjoy like the turkey and provolone.
Oh, good one.
Standard, but the original one is in Point Pleasant, which is about like 15 minutes from me. So we go there often.
Nice. Wow. Oh, we got stories. This is gonna be great.
Yeah.
So from the chat, we have Joey St. Louis who says Jokic is the guy who looks like a juggernaut. His fadeaway in the second half was unstoppable. It
Yeah,
really, and he can pass. Like his passing is on point.
I'll tell you what, if the Nuggets win a championship this year, I think you're gonna see him like, you know, get into that next stratosphere where like people are really I don't think people really appreciate Jokic right now because the Nuggets don't make it far in the playoffs. But he's like a generational guy, and I don't think like we fully grasp it yet, if that makes sense.
No, you're right. He's underappreciated, and this just tends to happen with big men. They never get the just desserts. Like nobody ever
Yeah.
really had the respect they deserve. I feel like if there was ever one, maybe Will Chamberlain, maybe Bill Russell, the late Bill Russell, rest in peace. But after that, nobody. Ewing, nope. Shaq, nope. You know,
Yeah.
they get love, but not the love that you think they should. And Jokic is a great example of that. I just think the Nuggets aren't even the Nuggets without him. Like that's how bad they are. Like not to say that the rest of the Nugget players aren't good, but they just don't have the swagger without Jokic. Like he's so good. Like
He's one of those guys you could drop him on any team in the
mhm.
NBA in the playoffs. You know,
Yeah. Oh yeah,
he's
Nugget is good. It's actually a good call. Yeah, Joey. That's actually a really good call. What I would say to that, Joey says Duncan was universally loved, absolutely. But I would
yeah.
also say, was he the guy that everybody was like, "Oh, this is the guy"? Like you gotta watch. You have to keep in mind when he played, right? So in the late '90s, you still had Hakeem, you had Barkley, you had like Shaq, you had we talked about Ewing, and then like the back half of his career, um, I think at that point that's probably when everybody was like, "Okay, Tim Duncan is like the truth," which he was. He was the truth. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know. Did you ever feel like he was a feared player in the league? I think he was. Yeah, certainly. Yeah, because he was really good.
He was one of those guys where when the Spurs came to town, it was a reason. He was a reason to go see the game. He's one of those guys. So yeah, I mean, he was. I always thought he was like a premier player.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think when they started winning the championships, and it was like Tony Parker was getting more involved. I think that kind of took his shine away a little bit, but I don't think it ever really should have because before Tony Parker, he was just as much of a force as he was alongside of him.
Yeah, I want to. Yeah, definitely agree with that. Definitely agree with that. Yeah, I mean, and he will. I think even when he was playing, people were saying this guy's a Hall of Famer, and he absolutely is a Hall of Famer.
For sure, yeah.
Easy, easy. Let's keep going in chat. So Joey says need AD to survive the entire playoff, which is very, very true. And
That'll be
I don't know. I give it a 1 in 3 shot that he survives the entire playoff. You even had a scare in that game one against the Memphis. We'll see, but he's a difference maker, isn't he? Like his defense, and he can, yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
They're a different team when he's on the court.
yeah.
They actually look like a championship team when he's out there, but like you said, him being healthy is few and far between.
Absolutely. But right now he's there, he's playing, he's healthy, he's doing things, and it's looking good right now, folks. So Bruiser says, I am hoping for the Kraken and Leafs to pair up in the Stanley Cup Finals and then have the Kraken win. Our friend John in Connecticut, or John in Orlando, okay, we also call him Yachts, AYOTS, which we still don't know what that stands for. He says
I have no idea.
we'll never know. He's never gonna tell us. It's like
Is he a Kraken fan, dude?
he's a Kraken fan now.
Wow.
I think he just loved the idea of an expansion team to root for. So he's been like adopting the Kraken as one of his teams. So his teams, folks, Seattle Kraken, the New York Yankees, formerly the Lakers. He's on hiatus from them for some reason. I don't know why. But and the Los Angeles Chargers. That's his biggest team. Like if the other three teams could go away, he would keep the Chargers. And you don't even know what sports fandom is until you meet my friend John and how much he cares about the Chargers. Like it's amazing. Like
Yeah, he's gotten some bad breaks with them.
absolutely. You feel for our friend. But I don't want to say it to him. I don't want to say sorry yachts because he'll get mad. But but listen, it's a tough break. It's for sure. Like he invented the term chargering. Like you chargered the game because like the Chargers.
Oh, yeah.
And it happens. Like it's just spectacular to watch, but you just hate it too. Like gosh, they're too good for this. Like it's just like
The Charger game without thinking of him, to be honest with you.
yeah, same.
And I'm always expecting something that bad.
I know, me too. But so is he. Like to be fair, like I mean, every Charger fan will have that same feeling in the game, especially in the fourth quarter. So
Sure.
yeah. So we're gonna keep Joey says I was a Danny Ainge guy. I was definitely not a Danny Ainge guy. God, boy, you talk about a complainer. Goodness. Oh, good executive though. I will give him his due as an executive. He's a good executive. But Braddington, was it Nick Jeter who had those thanks for the sex parting gift bags for the women?
Yes.
Yes, he was.
Yes. He was one of the first guys who you ever heard about, like having like the NDAs or whatever they have to sign. Like, I mean, he was so buttoned up that, I mean, he was in like relationships with like Hollywood people, and we still like haven't heard about it. So and you think about like an athlete like that in New York and being able to get away with it, it's truly like remarkable.
I mean, like you said, classic businessman, isn't he? Like,
Yeah.
good on him. It was extremely hard to do that then. It would be even harder to do it today. But
Possible.
but still, but it wasn't easy to do it back then. It was especially New York. Like, how do you not find out about something like that in New York? I don't know how he did it. They gave us some hints though with the gift basket scenario, and I actually give him a lot of credit. I actually think that actually made me earn brownie points with him. I'm like, that's pretty cool. That was pretty clever. I have to give him a lot of credit.
And you never really heard anybody come out, and say anything bad about him after the fact. So
yeah,
he was doing something right.
Yeah, for sure. Chris Duncan used to call them slump busters when he played for the Cards. Yeah, I know. I'm familiar with that term too. I think I remember Mark Grace utilizing that term too at one point in his career. Let's see. Bruiser says, I'm an original Six fan. However, I want the Leafs. Oh, no. I went back. Go back a little forward. Bruiser says, the cheesesteak is my favorite at Jersey Mike's. Ah, yeah, those are good. There's a couple different ones. There's like the regular one.
I like the Chipotle chicken.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, and then there's Big Kahuna. So there's 3 different choices. Really good. Lots of former Blues there. Wouldn't break my heart as far as the Kraken. Pretty cool. And then Bruiser says my grandfather made suits for Wilt and Bill back in the day. Now, how cool is that? To be the guy that tailors suits for 2 legends. Wow. That's really cool, Bruiser. Chris, but thanks everybody. Okay, so now we're gonna give you all a chance to ask some questions of our friend Ron in a segment we've done for quite some time, folks. It started on our podcast and it continues here on the Sandwich Show on Twitch. Let's get ready for another edition of America's favorite moment in Twitch broadcasting. Yeah.
It's time for random questions. Great stuff. Ask us anything.
All right, mods, let's go open up the queue, exclamation point open queue. I'll keep a monitor on it. I like this. Joey says, the Cuban at Jimmy John's is a nice option. I've never had the Cuban at Jimmy John's. Oh, yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I'm sorry, Ron, I didn't catch what you said.
I've never had Jimmy John's.
Pretty
I
good.
don't know if there's any.
Yeah, they're not everywhere. Like they have them. I have them in. I mean, they have them, a couple of them in LA, but they're not like the closest. So, but they were good. But the thing about Jimmy John's that's interesting is that because their specialty is delivering them on bicycles, they don't have hot sandwiches. That's a strange.
Is that true?
I believe so. I'm gonna double check that, but my understanding, I don't remember there being one. Like I tried to. It's if anyone who's been to Jimmy John's would know, would you be able to corroborate that? Bruiser says, "What exit do you live off of, Ron?"
on the turnpike, exit 9.
Oh wow!
But,
you're very brave to share your exit on the thing.
It's yeah, that's the exit for like the Parkway. I live closer off the Parkway, so I'm off of Parkway at 98 for the shore.
Okay,
for the,
that's kind of a fun fact. I mean, that's a fun little fact. Brett says restrains himself from shitting on fast food chain cheesesteaks. Brett, be kind, my friend. I know Brett is hardcore with cheesesteaks. Anytime we talk about him, he's from Philly, so he definitely would feel respect.
Yeah. Nothing compares to Philly.
Yeah.
I mean,
and we all agree with that too. Like it's we it's just like with the pizzas. Like we understand that pizza from Pizza Hut should not ever be compared to like actual pizzas from New Jersey or New York or Connecticut. So we do want to clarify that, Brett, so that you know that we're not trying to compare them because we know they're not on the same level at all, but they're still good, we think. Okay, so if you would like to ask a question tonight, exclamation point question, followed by the question itself, as we've done for many years, we'd love to hear from any of you tonight. We'll get it rolling for a little bit. I really enjoyed all these origin stories we've been talking about tonight. Let's see, 2000, yeah, good times. Sure, Joey says I saw Chicago invented pizza. I can't even. I'm not. I don't. You might remember that episode we talked about Chicago pizza with ACQ. Like that just kind of reminded me of that. Like that. Yeah.
I think that I'm not a pizza snob, by any stretch of the imagination. But I think there's a place for all that stuff.
Yeah, right? No, there's no question. I'm sorry. I should be more specific about that. Yeah, and I agree. I think Chicago pizza is cool. Like I don't necessarily think of it as pizza, but I don't hate it. I like it. It's good for once in a while. It's a good change up.
There's a million different if you ever watch Portnoy and Barstool, he loves like the bar pies. And there's so many places around here with highly rated bar pies, and I've never been like a fan of that particular style. But to each his own. There's New York. Obviously, you're gonna get good pizza in New York, but there's a time and a place for Chicago pizza. There's a time and a place for the good old Sicilian. The tomato pies. Whatever floats your boat. I don't think there's a wrong way to do it, to be honest with you.
Well, I really appreciate your. Yeah, that's very much.
They're not even bad. I wouldn't kill anybody who likes.
Wait, which one was it? Little Caesars? Domino's?
Any of them. Whatever.
Yeah.
There's a time and a place for that. To me, those places are like college places, like 2-3 o'clock in the morning. You're hungry. You're drinking. You order a Domino's and it gets there. There's nothing better in life.
Well, yeah. When you talk about stuff that can be open that late, very good point. Very good point. Yeah. Joey St. Louis says California Pizza Kitchen. Yeah, there could be a time and place for it, especially with that salad. I like their salad a lot.
I love California Pizza Kitchen.
Yeah.
I really do. I enjoy it. There used to be a couple over here by me, and they all closed. So I think the nearest one is probably like a 45-minute drive. But we'll take the venture out there from time to time, and like you said, get a salad. One of their pizzas. Can't go wrong.
That's true. That's a good combo. Good combo, Ron. And Bruiser says, living in the Chicagoland, there are so many styles of pizza. Oh, Bruiser, you're in a good spot. You're right. Because, In Chicago, they don't have just a deep dish. They actually have a thin style Chicago pizza too, which I can't speak to exactly what the difference is, but there is also Detroit style, which is kind of closest to Little Caesars, which is kind of like a square pizza.
Mm.
And geez, I had EVX here on yesterday. I could have asked her about Detroit style pizza. That would have been really great. Like she's from Detroit too, so like it would have been a really interesting question. I will I will investigate that further. But it's basically like Sicilian, except it's not as thick, right? Like they have like, have you ever had it? Have you?
I've never had.
Oh, okay. Have you ever had a bruiser? Like you're closer to there than we would be. Yeah, Little Caesars started in Detroit. Yeah, that's why I was thinking Little Caesars is like Little Caesars is a Detroit
Yeah.
chain. Yeah, Detroit style is like cafeteria pizza. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Duly noted. I'm still annoyed at that Knicks score. It's like they won by exactly 6 points, which was only a push for some, and for me, it's not even a push because I took it a little later. But anyway,
I will never not be amazed by like how on point Vegas
Yeah.
is with their lines. I mean, it truly like remarkable. And like one of the things that'll make you question life, like even like with the football, like the over under is some wacky number, 43, and the end result is like 33-9, and you miss out by a point. Like how the hell did they know to
Yeah.
hit that number? You know what I mean? But
it's amazing.
yeah,
I've told John, like John in Connecticut, about that. Checker. I've told Chris in Syracuse, or our friend Get Your Own Show from the old board, about that. Golly, it's wild how good they are, and they can do it so consistently. It's just like amazing stuff.
yeah. There was a while where I was on college football like big time, like on the FanDuel like sports book and stuff like that, and I had to take a step back and not I didn't lose like a ton of money or anything, but just it's such like a mind fuck that it's hard to really like keep up with it when you win or lose by like a point. It's crazy, it's tough, it's I had to like step back and say like I got to take a break for a while and just like enjoy sports and watch it for what it is.
Yeah, you're not gonna believe the score at the end of the first period in the NHL in the Dallas game.
What's the score?
It is 4-2 after one period. Seattle.
Crazy.
One period. That's crazy.
Dallas is a team that can score like at will.
Mhm.
So like if you would have said it was 4-2 Dallas, I wouldn't be surprised. But
Yeah.
4-2 Seattle is that's a shock.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, Kraken had 300 answered goals in that period, says Bruiser. Wow, that's wild.
Wow.
That's wild. Oh man, our friend Yachts has got to be so pumped up about that. So
Andy likes the Kraken too, right?
I don't know. I never thought
I know.
Kelly was getting that. I would think so.
Before.
Yeah, I think he'd be a Kraken guy. Like he's kind of semi Mariners fan, so like I feel like he'd be a Kraken guy too.
Right, just
Yeah.
root for him,
Yeah.
being in the air.
Yeah. It's it's interesting you bring that up, Joe. Stevie Eiserman made me not watch hockey for 3 years after he beat us 1-0 in triple overtime. Oh,
God,
man, I feel that.
Yeah.
But
My kids, my sons actually ask me like all the time, like what teams do you hate? Like who do you hate the most in hockey? And besides the Rangers, and the first team that always comes to my mind is the Red Wings, just because like those teams in the late '90s were like, oh man, they were so good, but they were so tough to watch. With Yzerman and Chelios and all those guys. But yeah, they were a team that I would always like hate to play because they were so tough and good. But yeah, it made me dislike the Red Wings.
it was practically non-competitive in those couple of years when they won back to back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like what was it, like 8 straight wins? Just
I was a big Avalanche fan during that whole rivalry with them, just because it was someone out west that would compete against them.
yeah, yeah. Those games were heated back then too. Yeah, that's a real shame that rivalry really fell off the face of the earth. Because first it was Colorado, they just tanked. They were so bad, and then
Yeah.
and now Detroit can't buy a playoff berth, and it's weird because it's like they just were automatic for the playoffs for like practically 3 decades.
Yeah.
They are just so bad now. It's just I think they were too bad this year compared to like the year before, but
Like you said, it's all cyclical. Like
Yeah.
it'll come where there'll be like
Yeah.
another where they make the playoffs, but I guess we should enjoy it now while we can.
exactly because like just like with the Yankees, that one year when they're like kind of bad, and like you better. I'm even getting like updates like, oh, the Yankees are in last place. They're in last place today, but in like 3 months, they're probably going to be back at the top of the division again.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Yeah.
It's like not with that rotation. That rotation is too good. Like you got Cole and you've got German and you have the other lefty, Cortez, I think it was, or Nestor Cortez.
Yeah, Nestor Cortez.
Yeah, these guys good. These guys are good.
Rondon
Yeah,
back.
absolutely. So, but Brenington's question. Now we have a lot of great comments on hockey too, but the 1-0 is what really kind of caught my attention with Joey's comment. Oh, that was a different era. Like, I'm glad to be past that. I don't think 1-0 hockey is entertaining. Oh my gosh, we got a raid! Holy cow! Welcome in, Evil Turnip. It's good to see you. Oh gosh, I should turn this up before I do this. Okay, I predict a riot. Evil Turnip, how's it going, my friend? I'm hanging out with my good friend Ron in New Jersey, who we go way back, even before the Sandwich Show. We go back about. You said 15 years, Ron? 15 years.
15.
Wow. Evil Turnip is an also really cool variety streamer, folks. Give our friend Evil Turnip a follow. Let me give a shout out to you. So, Evil Turnip was featured on Dinosaur Stream Fest, which is a raid train of creators, whether they be musicians or gamers or artists or cooking streamers. Pretty much you name it, they got it. And Evil Turnip was on there. It was sweet. Evil, you did great. It was a great show. I really enjoyed the game, and you even got us on a cliffhanger. How was your stream tonight? What were you up to this evening? Horrifying that 15 years is 2008. Joey, I tell you, it's funny how time flies. It's just I didn't think the 90s were going to be a bygone era when they were happening. It's interesting how that happens. But let's go see what Turnip was up to tonight. Evil, how was your stream, my friend? So good to see you. Board games, love it. Pump that up too. Nice. Turnip to beat. It's the raid. I love your raid call. That's really great. I do indeed predict a riot, Brett. So Brett's question, and I have asked this question of other folks from your fair state, my friend. Taylor ham or the correct? Not Brett. He might. Wait, hold on. Let me just read this. Taylor ham or the correct answer? Pork roll. Where are we at?
It's pork.
Yeah, there we go. No,
I've never called it Taylor ham in my life.
I love it. I love it.
There's an imaginary line somewhere in New Jersey where crosses from Taylor ham to pork roll. I'm squarely in the pork roll side of things. I've never I don't think I've ever been somewhere where they refer to it as Taylor ham, and I've never referred to it as Taylor ham.
I would side on the pork roll side of this argument as well. And Brett even says the fucking package says pork roll, even on the Taylor hams, which is totally. Yeah.
I mean, if I went, and it's like North Jersey who calls it Taylor ham, but even if I went there, I would still, out of my history, I would ask for a pork roll, egg and cheese, something like that. I could never bring myself to say Taylor ham, egg and cheese. It just doesn't seem right.
I completely hear it.
But people get bothered over that stuff.
You know what we call it in Los Angeles?
What's that?
Ham.
Yeah, there you go. You'll be surprised, man. People get
For
really
sure, for
bothered by
sure. Oh my goodness, that's great. Turnip says, Ty thinks they played a super cute dice game about puppies. That is adorable. Turnip. That's great. Well, I'm glad your game went really well. A dice game about puppies sounds like a really delightful time, Turnip. So yeah, give our friend Turnip a follow, everybody. Joey says, ham allowed in LA? Yeah, it's definitely allowed in LA, yeah. I know where Joe's coming from on that comment. No, I'm sure people get into ham fine. You know. Perhaps it, I think, when was the last time I had any kind of ham? I'm trying to think. Well, I've had an Egg McMuffin recently, so I guess that would count, wouldn't it? Like Canadian bacon is sort of is a type of ham, so.
it's in the same family.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
Gosh, Beebs, I'm gonna tell you, oh god, I really wish I didn't take the totals in this NHL. I was like, I love the road teams. I kind of like these totals, and I'm getting burnt to a crisp on the two totals. Like that first, so the under another game, and now this game, I've already lost the over. I've already lost the under.
What was the over under in the Seattle game?
5.5.
5.5, and they beat it in the first period.
The mush lives. That is rough for sure.
That is rough.
Never had a chance.
Man alive.
Woo.
What do you see in the Carolina Devil series?
Let's go look. I'm gonna go look at the odds right now.
I mean, Carolina's got to be favored.
Yeah, I completely agree on that front. Let me go look that up right now, because like, so you want the series price, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so for the series price, we are looking at the Devils are actually a slight favorite. They're giving
Really?
minus 130. Carolina's
Wow.
plus. Wow, that is kind of interesting.
All right.
Yeah, I think it's because the Devils are at home. They have home field ice advantage. That's why. Because
No, they don't. The first
they don't?
Carolina's. Yeah, Carolina's the highest
okay, now
seed.
that's even more surprising. I was reading. Well,
Yeah.
this is an offshore site that they put the teams backwards sometimes. So okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, I'm surprised too. I thought Carolina would be a little bit of a favorite there.
I know Carolina's. They're dealing with these.
Yeah.
So that plays into it, but that's very surprising to me.
Oh, Joey, updated over under. The updated over under, as of the moment in the first intermission, is 9.5. 9.5.
It's 4-2 now. That's tough. That's tough. It's screaming to take the over, but we know hockey. And
I kind of like, yeah, I know what you're saying.
You might end up like 5-2 game, and so.
It depends on how psyched out Dallas is by this period. If they're like, if they're grinding, they're trying to get it back. They get one. Like
Dallas can score with anybody, though. I mean, they got a ton of scores. So 4-2 is not like insurmountable for them.
Yeah. Do you want us to have some fun with this, Beebs? Do you want to do you want to test this mush?
Yeah, do it.
Let's do a poll. Let's just let the chat decide. Like, which do we take the live over or under? This is hysterical. I would actually take the under, because following the principle of could they be psyched out?
I think I would lean towards the over.
Oh, you're leaning towards the over. Okay. You
figure it's 4-2. You're going to get an empty net goal, even if it stayed 4-2. So that's that's 7 goals. So you're thinking 2 more goals. Can they get 2 more goals at some point in the game? Yeah, I think I would lean towards the over, but would not have a big inclination either way on it.
Yeah, I could definitely see the over as well, because sometimes when a game's that far out of control, we saw this in the Edmonton series against the Kings. Like, when it starts going, it's going. Like, you're not going to stop.
Even the Devil Ranger series was super tight, but the games that the Devils lost, they lost 5-1 each time, and it's because when a team falls behind, they take more. Obviously, they press and take more chances, pinching in the offensive zone, and it leads to more breakouts the other way. So the games were actually way closer than 5-1, but
Yeah.
the Rangers scored, easily as the game went on. So, yeah, it depends on how much Dallas is pressing and if Seattle can convert.
Well, check this out. So Joey says, when are you ever going to get it over that high again? You have to take it. The answer to the question is whenever Edmonton plays is the answer to that question.
Yeah, true.
To be honest with you, because they're probably going to have a very high scoring series. But generally speaking, you're not going to get a total that high at any point of the game. So yeah. The chat has overwhelmingly decided over 9.5, 100% of the votes. So we are in for it. Good luck to all of us. We'll all be rooting. We can do this. We can do this. If Dallas ties a game, suddenly it's that's 9. So you just have to get one more.
Yeah.
I say 9 because if it's 4-4, it has to be 9 because then you have to score one.
Right.
At the worst case scenario, you have to score in overtime. So, oh man! By the way, I did have some good things happen today. Red Sox, Blue Jays overs are money. Oh my goodness!
Oh god.
Yeah, easy win. It's pretty good stuff. But oh yeah, Brett. By the way, said I eat pork probably more than any meat, but I just don't like regular ass ham. But anything else is up my alley. Yeah, I hear that. How would you distinguish the difference between a pork roll and regular ham? What would you say the difference is?
Pork roll is almost like fried bologna. It's like ham. When I think of ham, it depends. When I think of cold cut ham, I think of the thin the thin salty ham. If you're talking about ham, cooking a ham, I mean that's that's real meat. Pork roll is a circular disc of you don't know what it is. It tastes like a mixture of bacon and a regular, but yeah, I mean that's what it's always been to me. It's just I remember as a kid having bologna sandwiches. I haven't had a bologna sandwich in probably 30 years, but I remember the shape and the tangy taste and being a little weirded out by it. And that's what pork roll reminds me of.
Love it.
But it's definitely got you put pork roll, egg, and cheese on a bagel, and there's not many things that are better in life.
It does. I think I may have had it once or twice with cheese. Yeah, I love that so much. That's really good.
I mean, there's places over here. You go down to the shore. I mean, there's every street corner you're gonna see a pork roll, egg, and cheese, either a food truck or its own stand. I mean, it's an institution down here.
Dig it. Yeah, I mean, I kind of see similarities between pork roll and Canadian bacon, which is known as back bacon up north, up in the Great White North. So I kind of see. Oh yeah, have a good lurk. Enjoy your snacks, Evil Turnip. Thank you again for the raid, my friends. Thank you for bringing your friends over here to the Sandwich Show. Brett says, "I'm not afraid of offcuts. I eat scrapple like it's going out of style."
Yeah,
scrapple. That's East Coasty for you right there.
Scrapple's a big in Pennsylvania, Dutch country and stuff like that. I think I've had it once in my life, and listen, you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, it sounds good. That sounds good to me. I've never had it, but it sounds similar enough to other breakfast scrambles and things. It sounds pretty good. I've seen it too. I think Brett showed me a picture one time.
Thing with salty and savory, scrapple, pork roll. I mean,
yeah,
there's always a time and a place for that, and it'll always hit the spot. You're in the mood for something like that. You can't get anything better.
Yeah, I love it. Cooper Sharp cheese and it's game over. Can't be topped. There you go, Brett. Yeah. Joey says, my mom used to eat that stuff that made the cat wretched. Potted meat, Braunschweiger, sardines.
Ugh.
Your mom has a strong palate. If you eat, wow. My goodness, Joey. I would love to hear any. Our friend Ron is a big expert of Marvel MCU, so if you have any Marvel questions, any opinions you want about the Marvel, the new Marvel, the old Marvel, the original Marvel, the Avengers, Iron Man, fire away, because this is the guy. He knows this franchise backwards and forwards. To a point, I guess. I wouldn't know how much you've caught up with it in the last 3 years.
I think the only one I haven't seen is what was the one with Angelina Jolie? Shit. I mean, it obviously wasn't that important if I don't remember.
Yeah, obviously, it was such an important, crucial moment.
For COVID. It was The Immortals. Is that whatever
wow.
it was?
I totally didn't see that one. Yeah.
Didn't see that. I think I've seen everything else. Really, really excited to see Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Yeah.
I'll be on vacation. We're leaving for vacation Saturday morning, so I won't be able to see it until I get back. And I'm hoping to like stay off of the grid, so I don't get any spoilers or anything.
Good call. Would you mind if I ask where you're going on vacation?
Turks and Caicos.
I was gonna say Aruba, and I was like, man, that's a wow. Oh, you picked a good spot. Oh my goodness, we're all gel over here. It's great.
That's like our spot. I got married there, and about like 5 years ago, we took the kids for the first time. They loved it, so we go back every year.
That's so cool that you could do that, though. What a blessing. That's great.
Yeah.
Joey says, Davy, take some fake spoilers. Absolutely. I'm gonna take Spider-Man reveals he's actually Ant-Man.
I can guess, with every like movie, like I could guess like what's gonna happen, but I'll pretend like I'm in the dark, until I actually see it. And I'll say that when I saw the first Guardians of the Galaxy, I had no background on them. I had no expectation going into it, and it was like I was blown away by it. Was not expecting to like it. So the fact that it's like the franchise is ending after this one, it's bittersweet, but definitely can't wait to see it.
Yeah, good times. I mean, I guess it's I can see the burnout factor being a thing if it went, after a while too, for some folks. Like Brett's making a similar case, who says, I stopped watch all Marvel viewing after the last Avengers, which would have been Endgame. Yeah.
And I think that's totally reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anything after that will ever, measure up to, that phase of the Marvel movies, and it certainly hasn't since then. But they're still entertaining to me. But we're gonna look back in like 10, 15 years and look at that run of Marvel movies and from Infinity Wars to Endgame, and just be like completely blown away. Like they were so good. Every single one of them was just like, and you had to watch them because they tied into like the next. I think they're like kind of forcing it now what they're doing, but I like the last Ant-Man that they had. We saw that in the movies. I didn't think it was great. I'm not a big Ant-Man guy. I thought it was entertaining, but definitely not a movie like I would remember or even want to go back and watch like a year from now.
Yeah, and I kind of felt similarly about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier, yeah.
Yeah. So it was good. It was good, but it was also like, if I had not seen it, I would not have felt like I'd missed that much.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's they're ultimately they're entertaining to watch and then completely forgettable afterwards.
Yeah, I can see that.
I saw that whole series. I couldn't tell you right now, like off the top of my head, what happened.
Right, exactly. Like I felt similar. Yeah, I just remember there was one where they were meeting at a cafe somewhere in the Middle East. That's about what I remember. I remember.
Yes, yeah. And
Yeah.
there was a risk group. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. Um, but let's see. We have also wanting it's why let's see Brett says also won't watch any Star Wars IP past the movies. I mean, when you say that, that's an unfortunate thing from my point of view because I think the TV shows are actually better than the movies right now. Like I think if Andor looks great. Book of Boba Fett's fine, like it's good, but The Mandalorian has been just continues to be really a great show, and I love it. Big fan, and I haven't seen season 3 yet, but I will, and I'm pretty sure it'll be good. Like we'll see. Oh, you're very welcome, Bruiser. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. Joey says, how many Spider-Man films are there?
In the current version of Marvel, there was Homecoming, No Way Home, and No Way Out.
Right.
I mean that there was 3 with what's his face, what's his name, the kid, Tom Holland.
Oh yeah, and so yeah, this is a really good question. I am not going to have an answer to that. I know they're the Tobey Maguire movies. There are 4.
There's 3 of them.
3 of those. Yeah.
There was 2 with Andrew Garfield, and
Yes.
now 3 with Tom Holland.
Yeah.
So that would be 8 in the past 20, 25 years.
How would you and they both brought something different to the table. I really do like the Tom Holland rendition of Spider-Man. And
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire is great too. So I don't know which is better. The other guy, Andrew Garfield's fine. Like I don't remember a lot about him, but
Yeah, me neither, to
Yeah.
be honest with you.
yeah. And Brett says, I also prefer Star Trek to Star Wars, so I am biased. Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Respect for that, because Star Trek is cool too. But we know that much like the Rangers and the Devils, the fan bases often are, very diametrically opposed to one another sometimes.
Yeah.
Although I don't think it's necessarily that extreme, because I feel like you'll definitely vibe much more with one than the other, but it isn't where like you refuse to watch the other one. Like, I don't feel like it's that bad, like that's extreme. So
I'll be honest with you. I wasn't into either of them growing up,
Mhm.
and I think that helped me out because like I've gotten into them and caught up on a lot of that stuff like in the past 5-6 years.
yeah.
So like watch it and appreciate both, and I don't have like that. I guess like when the height of the series were going on, like that, like you said, that rivalry. So I went into almost like eyes wide open, brand new, and I could appreciate both of them.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So stuff like I have to catch up on though.
Yeah.
I mean, they like plus like and all the streaming services, they churn out so much content that it's hard to keep up.
Yeah. And Joey made a comment about the movies, who says, for people who like me who didn't get in near the start, I can't commit to catching all the way up. It's 20 plus films. I get it. Like I'm having this problem with TV. I might not be able to do what I want to do with TV. Like I want to watch, how many series I'm trying to watch and I can't because I'm so Stranger Things 4, Cobra Kai 5, Mandalorian 3. Like it's.
I'll be honest with you. Like when I, like I said, my daughter was born in 2011,
Mhm.
and that was basically like the last time I was able to sit down on a consistent basis and watch like a scripted show.
Mhm.
Because like your whole life's consumed with like, it's totally changed now, but back then it was, Disney Channel and Nickelodeon. Now I see with the kids, it's all like YouTube and crap like that. But I mean, I went like 10 years without watching a TV show. Like I'm catching up now on stuff. I don't think I'll ever be able to like catch up on like all the crap that I missed. Stranger Things, I've seen 2 episodes of that. One day I hope to be able to catch up to it, but there's so much stuff out there now that I don't think I'll ever be able to like truly like wrap my head around.
It's great that this all exists though. It's great. It's a good problem to have. Like if you ever did have that much downtime, like you're at jury duty and all you had was an iPad with access to the internet. that is like the perfect time to like watch everything you've ever wanted to
Yeah.
watch. And
Absolutely, yeah.
yeah,
And especially now with like I said, like all the streaming options that you have. I mean, there's just like so much out there.
yeah, definitely.
Do you see like, is there like a, is there like writers picketing out in Los Angeles now, Dave?
Yeah, I've been messaged. I've been pinged about this a couple of times already. Like, yeah, it's happening. It's happening. The last writer strike was fascinating enough. I think it was around 2008 when we first
Yeah.
met. So this is just bring everything full circle. So like, it's gonna be interesting. I don't think it's gonna last that long because I didn't think it was gonna last that long back then either, and it didn't. And so it'll probably be a few months, and we'll see. You
Right.
know, but I'll probably run into some unless I'm going to the coffee, the cafe. I might see a couple like people with shirts and something like that, or picket signs. We'll see.
Yeah.
It's probably out there, but I root for them though because without good writers, there's no TV. Like it depends
Right.
on good writing. Like you can't make. That writer strike proved it too. Like you ever see like those? Did you see like some of the talk shows that when they didn't do writing,
Yeah.
how weird it was? It was just like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, I completely support them. Hopefully they get what they need, the negotiations, and we'll see. Ron, how much time would you say you have? Is it about time for you?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to close the queue.
To be honest with you, it's been flying by, so I have no
Cool.
complaints.
And I want to thank everybody for hanging out with us in chat. Brett says, I know a great podcast that interviewed the last season of Stranger Things in depth. I do too, Brett. Let me go and link to that podcast. It's over here, my friends. Like, well, okay, that's not I keep forgetting I have to. But if you look up pretty good podcasts on your podcast player, you can catch our friend Brett, who has indeed reviewed Stranger Things season 4, which is, I'm told, pretty good. Like it gets intense too. So definitely check out our friend Brett, who is also a podcaster. It's really cool. His voice is really good for podcasts too. It's like he's got that good podcasty voice. It's really nice. But Ron, honestly, it's been great. You're right. This really flew by. I felt like I'd only touched the tip of the iceberg with you tonight. So thanks. I appreciate it. You probably saw on Twitter, like we're gonna be again like transitioning the podcast feed to doing different things. So but it doesn't mean we're gonna stop doing sports. We'll keep doing sports and whatever. If you want to do the college preview, let me know. Like we can still do that, like in the summer, or whatever you want to do.
Well, it's your call, Dave.
Yeah.
I'm always here.
Okay.
Whatever you get into, I'm down.
Well, for sure. Well, Ron, thank you again. Like this is really great to catch up with you. My best to you and your family, and take care, my friend.
Yeah, same to you, Dave. Thanks for having me on, man. It's always good to catch up.
For sure. All the best. Take care.
Yep. Here, say hi to the family and everybody else, and
thank you.
Best wishes, and keep up the good work, Dave.
Thanks so much, Ron. Back at you. Good stuff. Our friend Ron tonight. Good family man, my friends. Like it was really great to catch up with him. It'd been a little bit. Like we hadn't seen him for a few months. Joey, thank you. Like it's really great to see you here tonight. Let's close this out with a little bit of what are we gonna go with tonight? Should we continue on the LC Binks train for our closeout music? Toilets! Hey, what's going on, my friend? How you doing? The Shout Out Toilet After Dark. One of our very cool, very talented artist friends here on Twitch. It's great to see you, my friend. I'm doing well. We're just counting down to our 2-year Twitch anniversary. And we might even have a couple surprises during these next couple of shows, my toilets. I'm really excited about that. I'll show you what's coming up tomorrow. Tomorrow we kick off our 2-year Twitch anniversary with a before party, which will feature group trivia, which will uncover bonus clips from that are tied into the Sandwich Show's history and Sandwich Show lore, the borking, all that stuff. And we'll see if we can beat the game. If we beat the game, the trivia game, we will unlock a lot of cool food, Mexican food that we'll present on stream for you. So that's tomorrow. It'll be really great. And then we have the 2-year Twitch anniversary itself, which is all day Thursday. and it's going to be pretty dang slick. So let me show you what's coming up on that day. It's going to be pretty amazing stuff. So let me show you here. Oh, geez. Back up. Okay, there we go. Here's the schedule for Thursday's particulars. I'm going to move this over here. Look at the schedule. I mean, I'll leave it up there, but, Voice and Mute, Joe, Sophie, the Tiny Willow Queen, Mond, Wonder, Fenwa, Mandy, Jillian, Hayek, Photic Photon, Carly, Danny K, Calvin Thomas, Justin, and Evelyn in the stream scribe. Just amazing stuff. But I'm glad you're doing all right, Toilet. It's really cool. Hope you're keeping on. Your art is obviously great. Just being me, Brett says. Yeah, Blaze is out. What was the fearsome fourth? Who was Fran Tarkington? The Jeopardy style questions. Hey, I got something to show you, everybody. Before we raid out, I want to show you what the game board's going to look like tomorrow. And it's pretty dang cool. Give me just a second. I'll load it up for you. But it's pretty cool. So the game board is going to look a little bit like this. So there are going to be two different types of questions. So when we go to here and download the file, and then we're going to get this shoe on the road. Yeah, come on, download it. This is so slow. All of a sudden, okay, there we go. Download copy. Hey, Mon, what's going on? Oh, so Mon, let's go back here. Mon is going to be on our 2-year Twitch anniversary on Thursday, folks. So I'm going to show this again. This schedule tomorrow on Thursday is going to be great. So Mon will join us at 3 o'clock Eastern time. Mods, can we give a shout out to Mon Samurki in the chat? Make sure to buy tomorrow to watch Davy and so. No, not true. Not true. Who was Whitey Herzog? Oh, that's funny. Let me see. We'll go put it over here. That seems good. Okay, so I'm going to go open this. There we go. Okay, so friends, check this out. So we're going to go show you the board tomorrow. So tomorrow, you got Wonder Bread. I love Wonder Bread. Yeah, the Wonder's good. Wonder making her Twitch debut too. I mean, not Twitch debut, but her sandwich show debut. I'm very excited to speak with Wonder. Wonder's an awesome musician and a music producer, folks. It's going to be really great. And Fenwa, we're going to have a great time talking about sandwiches. I really do want to thank you for hanging out with us, chatting with Ron. Ron was great. It was really good to see him tonight. Jillian, Hayek, and Stuart coming up. Yeah, this is going to be good. Calvin Thomas, an incredibly talented guitarist on Twitch. And then Danny K, who's a multi-instrumentalist. Justin Evelyn, a really fun, soon-to-be married couple who do dueling piano on stream. And the stream scribe, the one and only Carlo, who has just got amazing word art for the eyes to see. So here's the game board. So what we're doing with the game with this tomorrow is we are gonna show you. Oh God, what is it? Get me out of here. Okay. So we have these are the categories: Ducks, beer, Toronto, food, New York, bananas. So we can choose from these categories, and then I'll ask a question from that category, and then if they get the question right, you get to clear a number off the board. So as you get a question from the board, you can pick a number. Now each number will not only clear the number off the board, but the number will play a bonus show clip. I'll give you an example. So let's say you picked clip number, let's say it was clip number 9. All right. So if it was clip number 9, you would get something like this. Let's see if I can find something here. Yeah, you could do. So, okay, so say you got clip number 9, then you would get this clip. So like you have Kenny here doing, okay, this is very dangerous, but so
my 2 dying wishes, as long as the conversation has been more morbid, my 2 dying wishes, the first wish is that I want my remains scattered over Disney worlds.
Nice.
And my second wish is that I do not want to be cremated. Cheers.
I'll drink to that. Wait. Can we step back? What did you said? Yeah. Oh yeah, we're in an ad break. Okay, so we'll just wait out the ads, and then we'll kind of finish that out. But gee whiz, I'm going 0-24. You'd be surprised. I feel like some of these comments these are gettable. So we'll take turns. Everybody's in our voice channel. And get taking questions, and we'll just go through it until we clear the board. And I think we can do it. Just get fed to Disney Crocodile. That's funny. Okay, so but you get the gist of it. Like that's basically what we're going to be doing on tomorrow's show. It's going to be great. My friends. So thank you so much for hanging out tonight. We'll just wait till we're out of. Mon, can you? Oh well. I'll just wait out the 20 seconds. And then we're going to find someone cool to rate. So let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, me too. And the clips that we're going to be featuring are going to highlight different aspects of Sandwich Show lore. It's going to be really fun. And a lot of our friends will be featured in them. Some of the clips are going to be clips from the Sandwich Show. Others will be clips from other channels where I've borked the stream on some level. So there'll be borked songs from other people. There'll be like borked moments. They'll just be generally wacky situations. It's going to be really fun. So, who was Morris Day? The lead singer for The Time, Joey. Do I have that right? Am I a ding? Do I get a ding, ding, ding for that? Welcome back, everybody, from our ad break. Let me just recap this for everybody. So, this is our Streamiversary schedule. And thank you so much for your comments regarding the lineup. I'm excited about this lineup too. This is a great lineup. Like I am really like Carly sings too, Danny K, Calvin, and Justin Nevlin in the stream scrap. I'm really good. I hope none of mine are not there. No, I don't. The clips are. I actually don't remember, but I think you'll be good to go though, Mon, which I think is what you're hoping for. Oh, okay. I hope some of mine are not there. Okay. I got you, Mon. But yeah, check out Mon. We're going to have a good time talking about art and talking about food. And that's going to be great at 3 o'clock Eastern on Thursday. It's going to be a great day. My friends. So, and then just to repeat, we're going to have the before party tomorrow, 9 o'clock Eastern. And it's going to be wild. Like I'm really excited about this game, and I'm very curious to see how everybody does. I think it'll be fun. I think it's going to be a whale of a time. And so tomorrow again, here it is. Check out it's interesting that it does that, but the before party, really good stuff. May the 3rd, which is tomorrow at 9 o'clock Eastern. I want to thank Ron again for hanging out with us. Let's go find someone to raid. Who shall we go to tonight? Let's see. I've got some ideas, so I think I'm good on as far as the decision. Let me just confirm a couple things, and we'll be on our way. We were talking a lot about sports and Taylor ham and pork rolls and things like that. Let's see. Where can we go? Ah, yeah. Hey, wait a second. Okay. I think we've got a decision. Well, we're talking about who was Paddington Bear? You're going to be great tomorrow, Joey. Come on back tomorrow. We'd love to take your responses. All right, so we are going to go raid. This is great. Let's go raid someone else who's celebrating a 2-year stream anniversary. Is Cliff on? Wait. Is Cliff on? Let me go see. Oh, yeah. That's pretty good. That's a call. Okay. Yeah, let's do it. Like, I've actually always wanted to raid Cliff. That's actually a great. I keep missing him too. That's what's so interesting. I keep missing Cliff Stallings. It's like I seem to just jump quite the continuity. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's do it. So we're gonna go raid Cliff Stallings music. Really entertaining guy. And we have something in common. We're both going to be interviewing Voice Unmuted this month. So that's really, or within 2 weeks of each other. So pretty cool. So go give our friend Cliff Stallings music a follow once you get there. That should be really fun. Let me get some music going to take us out. And here it comes. So good day for now. Good night. And there's a raid call, sub raid. Copy the raid calls. Gonna head on down to Cliff Stallings' music, folks. We'll just make sure that the uptime is good. Hold on 1 second. Can we check and confirm that? It should be good. Yeah, he's good. He's good. He's good. Okay, so we're gonna head on out. Thanks, everybody. Yeah, have a good one for now, everyone. And don't forget to give our friend Cliff Stallings a follow. Take care, my friends. We'll see you there at Cliff Stallings. Take care, everybody. Back tomorrow. Group trivia. 2-year stream anniversary kicks off. Let's do it.